It's been over 4 years since the Gratton Cup Series last hit the track in anger, but today that hiatus comes to an end after a couple of series in between the Samsung Fly Racing League, the Gratton Racing League. Well, the Gratton Cup Series returns to action today with Daytona pre-season testing. In these two sessions today, we will determine the order for the Daytona 500 qualifying, which will be coming up in a few nights' time. Here from the Daytona International Speedway, it's pre-season thunder at the Daytona International Speedway. Hello everybody, my name is Stuart Gratton. Great to have your company here from Daytona Beach, Florida. We've got Daytona pre-season qualifying coming your way here today. The first time for the Gratton Cup Series Season 6. You get to see cars out on track. They're loading into the positions now. And of course, it is the first time in 4 years that this series has run. Of course, this used to be the Audi Cup Series and the AKG Cup Series back in the day. And now it is the Gratton Cup Series in 2025. It's run across into 2026 as well. We're getting our first cars on the racetrack right now. And in this session, we'll run through all of the drivers. This video will run through all 46 drivers in the field. That will make up the Gratton Cup Series here in 2025-2026. And we'll set the order for how they will come out, what the order is for Daytona 500 qualifying. So if you're the fastest in this session, and if you've got a faster time than Group 2, then that will be, you'll be the last car out. Here in qualifying, we'll also go through some of the drivers who needs to make their way into the Daytona 500 and what they will need to do. Or, well, in one case, one driver's got a slightly different scenario, but everyone else will have to make their way in either through the qualifying session in a few days or the dual races in a few days. The qualifying will be the 28th of October, and then the dual races will be the 30th. So looking forward to those. Let's actually get to the cars that are actually on the racetrack right now, starting with Fitzroy Australia Racing's number 59. This is Kyler Sustrai, who is one of a large rookie contingent in this series. He has raced in the Gratton Racing League, which ran over the past 12 months. And Sustrai finished 18th in the points in that series. Did get a win late in the season at Nashville, but otherwise had an up and down campaign. Of course, that Gratton Racing League field was only 30 cars, so it was a somewhat frustrating experience for the most part. Did get that win we mentioned, but for Fitzroy Australia Racing, this is a team that is hopeful that in their what is now 4th season of operation that they can finally make some inroads. They've really stalled out in the last couple of across their 3 seasons. Did get a win back in season 4, but with Kenny Washington in the 43 at Las Vegas. But otherwise, it has been a torrid run. So for Sustrai, he'll be hoping that things could be, or for NS, not NS, we're about to get to NS Racing, but for Fitzroy Australia Racing, they're hoping for a bit of a turnaround of what's been a frustrating existence in the Cup Series so far. Here is NS Racing. They've got 4 cars in this session. All 4 of their cars are in this session. Eli Bright is one of those NS Racing Fords in this session, and he's the Daytona 500 champion from Season 5. I can't really call him the reigning Daytona 500 champion. That would be Isaac Nichols, who's not in this race. He's not in this series as a driver. He's as an owner. But Bryce, in what was, I think it was 91st career start, broke through for that elusive first win. And had made the chase for the first time. It was a breakout year for the driver of the 95 at NS Racing. It was a breakout year for NS Racing as well. And so they'll be hoping that year was not a fluke, and they can continue their upward trajectory and perhaps go for the championship here in 2025-2026. 95 looking to make the chase for the second consecutive season. Henry Gore in the 71 returns to Gifford Technologies Incorporated. This is his 5th Cup season. And Gore, a 3-time race winner, has not won since Indianapolis in the Cup Series of Season 3, which was 66 starts ago for him. So it's been a while. But the 71 of course, this team very, very strong. Gifford Technologies Incorporated. It'll be one of the favourites going into this season with their very strong 4-driver lineup. And Henry Gore has made the chase in each of the last 3 seasons. So keep an eye on this 71 as the year goes along. Also qualified quite well at Daytona last year. Travis Crampton. We've seen one of the NS Racing cars. Here's their second. Crampton in the 97. Rookie. He did race in the Samsung Offline Racing League for Durrani Racing. Finished last in points. It was the last car. A recipient, I suppose. I don't know if it's an honour you want to have, but Crampton finished last in points. I don't think he'll be last in points in this series. The car, of course, is going to be very, very strong, or at least we expect it to be very, very strong, given we talked about before they were very, very quick last year with Bryce and Ben Watson, who we'll get to later in this session. So we'll see what the 97 can deliver this year. Christian Vargas in the 36, who is in his 3rd Cup season. Crampton's a rookie, by the way. Vargas in his 3rd Cup season. He's only ever had 2 top 10s in his Cup Series career. It's been a very frustrating existence, I suppose, for Vargas. He's doing all right at the moment. He's 3rd quickest currently. But only 2 top 10s in his career. His best finish was 9th at Richmond back in Season 4, which is a long, long time ago now. But this is clearly the best team he's been a part of. Drove for Fitzroy Australia Racing last season. Drove for, CBF Motorsports. I think off the top of my head, I think that's what the name of it was. Josh Crash was the owner, and that was a miserable season. Finished 30th in points last year, so hoping for last season. So hoping a bit of a turnaround. Here's his new teammate, Jake Rogers, Premier Racing Motorsport teammates, and this is one of the big moves in the off season. For those who don't know, because it has been a long time, Jake Rogers equal most wins on the channel. He's tied with a few others, Tristen Allen, Cyrus McGee, and Dawson Miller with 11. He has 10 Cup Series wins. Also won in the Samsung Offline Racing League. He's a high-quality driver. He's made the chase every year. He's been in the series. Been around since Season 2. And every season, he's been with DW Motorsports. Until this season. Actually, he did race for Nicotech in Samsung Offline Racing League, but for this, we're not going to count that. So, he's driving for Premier Racing Motorsports and Cesar Chavez. And Chavez hoping that Rogers, and he's brought in Vargas. We talked about that before. We'll get to their other driver, I think, who's in the next session from memory. Might be in this session. But hoping that the changes made to this team will help take this team over the top. The number 40 did win Daytona last year. And look at this big pack. The second Daytona race, I should say, for the number 40. Here's Alejandro Cruz in the 46 for Monkey Racing, one of the 5 new teams on the grid. In this series, anyway. Have raced in the Samsung Offline Racing League, raced in the GRL. Cruz drove for this team in the Samsung Offline Racing League. And did a pretty good job. Finished top 10 in points, got a win at Chicagoland. Was a much tougher GRL campaign for the 46, where he finished 29th in points out of 30 drivers. It was a very tough campaign, driving for Cologne Motorsports. Returns to Monkey Racing and is hopeful that this team can improve on their GRL output and return to the Samsung Offline Racing League output, as Monkey Racing were not particularly quick, although did win both Daytona and Talladega with Isaac Nichols. Here's Loudovick Charette in the 23, who finished 3rd in the GRL Championship and probably could have, and perhaps should have won that championship, but I digress. Charette, a high-quality driver, won at Oregon in the GRL, driving for Vision Motorsports at the time. This is Gratton Autosport in this series, a bit of a contentious team, I think it's fair to say, given the owner of this league and the title sponsor and everything. But 23, we'll see what she can deliver. Rookie to this series, like Cruz and a few others. Charlie Davenport here in the 52 for Hairgel Motorsports. He's doing a decent job at the moment, 3rd quickest. Davenport, only the one career top 10 finish, and that came in the season finale in Season 5. That was at Homestead. He actually finished 5th that night. He's hoping that in his second year with this team, Hairgel Motorsports, that they could continue to, or he could continue to improve and be a bit more of a regular inside the top 10, and who knows, maybe make a run at the chase perhaps in that 52, the Gamebridge Chevrolet. And Davenport very, very excited to get to work. Here's the fast man at the moment, Logan Williams for Team Williams Logan is the brother of the team owner Andrew Williams, whose team started off quite well in the GRL. Were right up there in championship contention, won 3 of the first 9 races, but from that point onwards, that team really fell away, and it was a real struggle. So they'll be hoping for a much better performance in the Gratton Cup Series, and much more luck in the Gratton Cup Series. Williams didn't drive in the Gratton Racing League, did race in the SORL for Gifford Technologies Incorporated, ran I think 40th in points from memory. He actually had a better Gratton Cup Series, AKG Cup Series, Season 5, his rookie campaign, where he made 16 starts. He got a best finish of 5th at Talladega, and he finished somewhere in the mid to late 30s in points. So it wasn't a great year for it, but it may have even fallen into the 40s. I can't remember off the top of my head. But either way, it was not a great campaign for him that season. We're hoping for a better form in the Gratton Cup Series. Thomas Troxell for Pacific Racing. So Troxell, who finished 4th in the SORL points in 2023, driving for Team Velocista at that time. He made the switch to Pacific for the GRL and finished 12th in points with a win at North Wilkesboro. Pacific Racing are a team that you're going to have to watch for this year. There's a bit of a battle between them and Seminole Motors, you'd think, as the main Toyota team. We'll get to Seminole Motors in the 6 in a minute. But Pacific have won with each of their drivers. So they've had 5 different drivers across SORL and GRL, and have won with each of those drivers. They've won 7 races across those 2 series. This is a team to watch for. Won the Drivers' Championship as well with Bradyn Perez, who we'll see later on in this session. Max Davis here in the number 6 for Seminole Motors. Home race for Seminole Motors. This is a team that got 2 cars into the chase in Season 5 with Noah Clifton and the owner-driver Richard Fridge. And Davis, a rookie to this series, drove for the team though in the SORL, got a win at Oregon, and then finished 11th in points in the GRL for Vision Motorsports in what was a somewhat frustrating year in the sense that he couldn't quite get that win, and it looked quite competitive at times, just couldn't quite get the results. Things didn't go his way, and for a bit of frustration there. But he'll be up there, you'd think, in Rookie of the Year contention. Will Parrish in the number 11, Gratton Autosport. We talked about the Gratton Autosport before. Parrish was a late addition to this series in the number 11. Wasn't originally scheduled to drive this car, but he fills the void. And finished 25th in points in the GRL, and also ran the SORL. Finished 25th in points. He was the owner-driver. The car was absolutely horrendous, it must be said. But he still got 2 top 5s out of it. So we'll see what he could do in this number 11. Let's see what he could do throughout the year. Duncan Ward for Team Velocista. This is the first Honda we've seen on track today. There's another one in the back of this pack as well. But Duncan Ward, Team Velocista, had a terrible Daytona race, Daytona 500, back in 2020 when Renan Asip, who was driving for this team at the time, missed the race, and Lorenz Maga, who was driving for this team as well, finished 40th. It was a shocker. They're hoping for a bit more fortune this time around. And Duncan Ward also hoping for a bit more fortune. Had a terrible GRL as well. Also driving for Will Parrish's team. He finished 28th in points. Did get 4 top 10s along the way, but was a bit of a struggle for him, to say the least. Here's Alexander Rowe, one of the heavy favourites for the championship this year. Gifford Technologies Incorporated number 51. 5 wins, the most of any driver in Season 5, including the finale race at Homestead. Finished 4th in points, and is expected to be very, very fast again this year. He started on the pole in the Daytona 500 in Season 5 as well. So keep an eye on this Blackjack number 51. And we'll see what he could do in this Daytona 500. Just kind of holding back at the moment by the looks of it. He'll be one to watch as the year goes on, as will this guy. This is Noah Clifton for Nicotech, who also moved from Chevrolet to Honda. Gifford Technologies Incorporated, by the way, moves from Toyota to Chevrolet. I don't think I've actually mentioned that yet, but that did happen. That was a big move. It's why the Seminole Pacific battle and perhaps even Monkey Racing battle will be very interesting to see who becomes the top Toyota team. As for Nicotech, and Noah Clifton, making the switch from Chevrolet to Honda, 32 wins for this team across the 4 seasons that they took part in. It's an extraordinary record, second most in the series. Teams champions back in season 5 as well. So there'll be ones to watch. Clifton finished 7th in points as a rookie. Got a win in the Coca-Cola 600. We'll see what he could do in this 13 car this year, replacing the now retired Simon Nichols. Here's the runner-up in the series championship. We're catching Tyson Gifford in the 7. We'll get to him in a minute. But here's the runner-up in the championship from last season. Benny Watson, the 96, for NS Racing, their third car. But Watson nearly pulled off the fairy tale championship run. Just fell 4 points short. And I'll always go to the grave. I'll go to the grave saying he would have won the championship if his teammate at the time, Mitchell Collins, hadn't beat him to the line at Talladega in the chase race. Either way, is what it is. Can't change the past. Watson now hoping to make up for lost time in the 96 and win the championship this year. So we'll see what he could do. This car will be very, very fast. Keep an eye on it throughout this session, throughout the year. Tyson Gifford in the number 7, owner-driver, Gifford Technologies Incorporated. We've seen 3 of their cars in this session. And of course, talked about it before, made the switch from Toyota to Chevy, which was a surprise. But did a good job in the Samsung Offline Racing League and is expected to be very, very fast in this series as well. Has a 100% strike rate in Daytona 500s. He won the Season 1 Daytona 500. He won the Season 3 Daytona 500. He'll be one to watch by the end of the race in about a week's time. So keep an eye on this number 7. 3 career wins in the Cup Series. Also won at Talladega in Season 3. Here is the SRL champion from 2023. Bradyn Perez returns to Pacific Racing, the team that he won the championship. Same car, same colours. New Toyota, of course. New Toyota Camry model. But otherwise, pretty much the same scheme and everything. And Perez, 3 wins across SRL and the GRL. 6th in the GRL points as well. Drove for Velocity last season. Helped them in the GRL, I should say. Helped them get to a teams championship, which Matt Tuck, who's the team owner of Velocity, with the 54 you can see in this pack, and I said it was kind of surprising because it didn't really feel like that they were really up there all year, Team Velocity. But Perez did a very good job at the back end of the year, and like Charette, could have won the championship if perhaps things went his way, but that's not what happened. He's trying to make up for some lost time here with Pacific Racing in the 92. There'll be ones to watch this year. Nathan Smith in the 25 for Seminole Motors. Smith finished 19th in points. Got a win at Las Vegas. He's coming down pit road now. Got a win at Las Vegas, but otherwise it was a tough year for the 25. We'll see what he could do with Seminole Motors. That team going to be expected to be pretty good, and they would be the favourite for the Toyota team, the main Toyota team. Speaking of favourites, here's the Gratton Cup champion, Tristen Allen, for DW Motorsports, the powerhouse team of this competition, this series. DW Motorsports, 37 wins, 3 teams championships, and in each of the rating seasons that they've been a part of, seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5, they've had the drivers' champion. Brandon Bentz won twice, seasons 2 and 4. Tristen Allen won season 5, and Cyrus McGee won in season 3. So, would be you wouldn't get much return on a DW driver to win the championship this year, I would think, if you put money on it. Especially for Tristen Allen, because this guy is extremely talented. He's the equal winningest driver in the series. But funnily enough, he's only got 5 wins in the ratings era. He had 6 in season 1 when it was equal ratings in the 2016 Cup mod. And then he's won 5 more times since, which is actually kind of funny to think about, but got the 1 win at Texas last year and had a lot of consistent performances. Nearly lost the championship at Homestead after a bad pit stop and a bad strategy call that nearly gave the championship to Benny Watson. But the 14, 11-time race winner, he'll be right up there again. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Gerrard Oran is the 4th and final NS Racing car. And it's a fascinating story, Gerrard Oran, because he joined the series in season 2, drove for Gifford Technologies Incorporated, and he struggled mightily, to be honest. Missed a few races, was well down the points, and then he got a win at Darlington, and with the win and in format at the time, he was able to make the chase. He ended up finishing, I want to say, in the top 8 in points. We made it all the way to the round of 8, driving the 91 at the time. Then he became an owner. Became a part-time driver as part of his ownership duties. Got a win at Dover in season 4 in fascinating circumstances. where everybody crashed in the pit cycle. There were a lot of cars were damaged. Everyone was a lap down. Got the win that day. Had a full season as a driver for Railfare Motorsports. Bradley Ream took over his team that season and struggled quite a bit. I was actually a part of the finish where he helped Eli Bright win that race, that Daytona 500. But the other thing as well, he competed for NS Racing in the GRL and performed quite well. He got a win, 5 poles, and even though his points position wouldn't indicate he had a great campaign, he actually led a lot of laps in that series. So keep an eye on the 99. We'll see what he could do in the Amsoil Ford. Ethan Lewis for Monkey Racing. We've already seen the 46, I should say. Lewis is in the 69, Jordan Toyota. And of course, this team, as I said before, very, very quick on the super speedways. Certainly was the case in the GRL season with Nichols won those 2 races, Daytona Talladega. There'll be ones to watch, you'd think, in this Daytona 500. They might be right up there. But of course, they've got to race there. They've got to qualify their way in. That's one thing, again, I've totally forgot about this. Got to be mindful of the drivers who actually have to race their way in, qualify their way in. So most of these guys in this pack are actually locked in. It's out of these guys, it's just Ethan Lewis that needs to either qualify or race his way in. Either or works. Carlos Sustrai is another one that needs to qualify his way in. Alejandro Cruz, Will Parrish, also in this group of guys that need to make their way in. Same with Loudovick Charette and Thomas Troxell. All of whom have to make their way in. Bradyn Perez is another one. Logan Williams is on pit road. He's another one. We talked about Nathan Smith. He's locked in. So I think we have now officially gone through everybody. I think we have touched on each of the drivers. And now we can actually talk about what's actually happened, because this is the fast man at the moment. Pertec Chevrolet, Henry Gore is the quick man, but we finally start talking about the session and the times start dropping. Thomas Troxell's just gone second quickest for Pacific Racing. Troxell, as we mentioned before, has to qualify his way in. He won't get anything for this. He won't go anywhere towards locking himself in, but it's a good indicator that this car's got a bit of speed if it can make the 500. Currently second quickest. Loudovick Charette's 4th quickest as well in the 23. They got a good run clearly on that past lap. Jake Rogers in the 40. Now this car is quick. I can assure you of this. Not him specifically, but the 40, Jamie Rose, won the second Daytona race. We talked about it before. Won the second Daytona race, and that was a big part of why she ended up making the chase that in season 5. Not in this series this year, of course, but with Rogers on board, with his prowess and his ability that he's demonstrated across all of his years of Cup competition, he will be the one to watch in this Daytona 500. He's locked in. It's good to go. And this car is very, very quick. And what we've seen so far, but hasn't quite been as quick as Henry Gore so far in this 71. We will compare the times at the end of the 2 sessions, and we'll figure out the order from there as to who goes out where. And then, depending on how the times fall in the single car qualifying on Tuesday night, that's when we will figure out who's in what duel, and then from there we'll figure out who's starting where in the Daytona 500. So there's still a lot to play out in this race, or this week, I should say. So it's Gore leading from Troxell, Rogers, Loudovick Charette. The 59 of Carlos Sustrai has done a nice job in 5th. Alexander Rose 6th, Logan Williams, Travis Crampton, who's leading this pack at the moment as they get around Christian Vargas. Then it's Eli Bright, and the 52 of Charlie Davenport. That's your top 10 with about 100 seconds left, as these cars are just continuing through these runs. Nathan Smith's just jumped into the top 10 here in the 25. And perhaps one thing that we are seeing a little bit may be the tyres. Perhaps it's not, it's not really going to be the case for the 500, you'd think. But tyre wear maybe in these runs have helped out. Not tyre wear specifically, but like Lewis, for example, not Lewis, Nathan Smith has just come off a pit road, for example, and his car looks pretty quick. He's making moves now to the inside of Rogers. They're going too wide behind. So perhaps that's making an impact here for the 25. Don't know if that's going to help him improve that much. Although Crampton, oh no, he just went third quickest. So, I was just about to say maybe it's not improving that, helping him that much, but certainly did there. He's up to the third position. Crampton as well just improved. Tristen Allen just moved up the order as well in the 14. So even as late as we are into this session, we're now getting a bit of shuffling up and down the timing board. We've got two groups, two here at the moment. This one's a bit, I mean, they're starting to form up now, but it was a bit more chaotic. You got guys that could get runs on the car in front, and that perhaps played into why the 25 was able to get a good run that last time. The pack behind, and these guys are side by side, and so that's not really helping anybody. And also about to catch these two lap cars here, Bradyn Perez and Logan Williams. They will get to them when they get draft off of them, and if they're going single file, they may be able to get a run here. We'll see what kind of difference. Actually, I've just realised, so Rogers and Charette are actually tied, but that won't matter. Rogers will get the tiebreaker anyway in terms of the qualifying times and who goes out where. But if you're Henry Gore, you're pretty happy with this. The 71, who qualified quite well in the Daytona 500 single car qualifying last year, has put together a pretty good car in terms of the pack racing. And some last minute moves. Some guys have moved up. Eli Bright's just gone to 6th. But not a whole lot else from that. And that will end the session. These last 30 seconds will not count. So these times will not improve. And so it will be the Pertex Chevrolet, Henry Gore, who will be top of the time sheets, who's looking to break that drought we mentioned before. 66 Cup races since his last Cup win. He did win the SORL race at Texas back in 2023. That'll be his last win on the channel. You'll see the time run out. Right now, the cars will disappear, and that's all she wrote for Group 1.
Drivers, to your car.
Results are on the screen right now. Henry Gore leads Thomas Troxell, Nathan Smith, Jake Rogers with the tiebreaker over Loudovick Charette, Eli Bright, Tristen Allen, Kyle Sustrai, Travis Crampton, Alexander Rowe, the top 10. Look further down the order, it'll be Bradyn Perez, who is the slowest here in this session. Didn't really look like he had too much assistance, it must be said, as well. So that didn't help the case. Gifford, 46.3 as well. Clifton, 46.2. The guys towards the rear. Not a great start for the two Honda drivers in this session. Duncan Ward, 20th. Certainly not helping the case there either. So those are your results. We'll figure out who goes where in terms of single car qualifying order once we get this all said and done. But anyways, enough of that. Let's move on to group number 2. And here we go, getting ready for group number 2. The same kind of format that we saw in the last session, in that we'll have 25 minutes to see all these 23 cars. They're split into, because of 46 cars, they're not going to be able to get all 46 on the track at the same time, so it'll be 23 cars per group, and that's the number of cars we'll get in each duel as well, 23. And these are not going to be the groups for the duels by the way, just for the record, but we get to see all 23 cars. We get to talk about them a little bit more. We've got 2 coming off of pit road right now. And somewhat ironic that these 2 cars are coming out at the same time. So this is Josh Williamson, who's the first car out here in the number 1, the Freightliner Chevrolet, driving for Full Frontal Motorsports. Okay, a bit of backstory. William Brock is the owner of this team. He has owned this team across seasons 2, 3, and 4, but he gave up ownership to Hairgel Alonso, who then created Hairgel Motorsports. William Brock actually drove for the team in the number 1, won at Darlington and finished pretty solidly in the championship. And then at the end of all that said, you know what, I'm going to go back to being a team owner. Had a mutual split with Hairgel Motorsports, took the 1 and 42 with him. And here we are. So Josh Williamson, driving for Full Frontal Motorsports team that's won a few races across the journey. And did very well in the GRL. Got a win and finished 4th in the championship with Pacific Racing. So we'll see what he could do in this series. And I mentioned that it's ironic because this is a Hairgel Motorsports car right here. This used to be the number 1. This is now the number 8. driven by Matthew Hubert. And so Hubert's record here on the channel is solely in the ownership ranks. He's the first true rookie, as we call them, in that he has never actually made a Cup Series or any kind of start. He hasn't raced in either of the racing leagues, Samsung or Gratton. But he has been an owner in those two series. He's got a couple of wins along the way as an owner. We'll see what he could do as a driver. Mobile 1 Chevrolet here in this session for Gerrard Alonso and Gerrard Motorsports. And Gerrard himself finished second as a driver back here in Season 4 when Bradyn Perez won the race. He wasn't that far away either. They've just set down the first lap time. So we'll see. We'll compare these lap times to... We'll compare these lap times to Group 1 once we're all said and done. We'll see where the order stacks up. This is Dominic Anthony, the first ever pole sitter of the Gratton Cup Series. Also the first ever Daytona 500 pole sitter because, of course, they were the same race. Gifford, Technologies Incorporated, he's driving for. Talked about his three teammates who were in the previous session. This car is probably going to be pretty good, given Gifford's prowess on super speedways is very, very good. They've got a very good record in these races. We'll see what the 39 can deliver here. He's on his own at the moment. 4-time race winner. The most experienced driver on the grid. 168 career starts across two series. The Gratton Cup Series and Samsung Offline Racing League. Finished third in points in the Samsung Offline Racing League, which, you know, he went into Homestead as the championship leader. Couldn't quite finish the job. Also got a win at Charlotte. He's a 5-time race winner across the two series, a 4-time Cup Series winner. Keep an eye on that 39. Keep an eye on this number 20. This is Richard Fridge, who also, like Anthony, made the chase in Season 5. And this team, Seminole Motors, this is Fridge's home race. This is his team's home race. And Advent Health on the car this week in the number 20. But Fridge made the chase, finished top 10 in the points, or if he didn't finish 10th, I think he finished 11th. It was one of the two. But he was right around the mark, had a good season, career best season. So clearly, it was his first full season in Cup. So this is his second. We'll see what he can do in this number 20 for Seminole Motors and Advent Health on this car. We've got a group of 4 back in here. This is the Nicotech Honda of Dawson Miller, who has won 11 points-paying Cup races, won the duel here last year. Or last season, I should say. And he is one of the best drivers on the grid. There is no doubt about that. Driving the 48 for Nicotech Racing. And we'll see what he can do. It's this car is probably going to be... He's right there, you'd think, in championship contention. If Honda can build a good enough car. Matt Tuck was talking earlier in the week that, if the league doesn't do a good enough job with the balance of parity, the BOP, he will complain about it. So it's something that the league will keep in mind, I'm sure. But we'll see what the Honda engine is doing at the moment. It's leading this group of cars, which also includes Roberto Crown Jr. in the 43, a rookie, not a true rookie because he's made some starts in Samsung Offline Racing League and the Gratton Racing League. Hasn't had a great time in either of those two series, it's fair to say. Had a tough time, particularly in GRL. We finished 23rd in points, or they finished 23rd in points, excuse me. And it was just a frustrating campaign. They're now with Fitzwater Australia Racing. Talked about it a little bit with Kyle Sustrai. This team just hoping to make some inroads and just kind of get away from the monotonous kind of position they're in where they're running towards the back end of the field consistently. So they're hoping for an improvement this year. There's no doubt about that. We'll see if Crown and Sustrai can make that kind of difference. Addison Steinbach, the first of 3 DW Motorsports Fords, I should say. DW Motorsports, for those that don't know, is the original Gratton Racing Technologies in terms of sheer dominance. So 37 wins for this team in 4 seasons of competition is a remarkable record. Only won 4 races in Season 5, though. Finished third in the team's championship. Steinbach comes across from Premier Racing Motorsports, kind of like a straight swap with Jake Rogers, really. But had an interesting season in the 53. Called up last minute in both Seasons 4 and 5. He actually finished top 5 in the Daytona 500 in Season 4, so you think he'll be there or thereabouts, I would say, in the Daytona 500, but we'll see. He's driving a very fast car. Here's Caleb Rose in the 32 Pacific Racing. This is their third car. And the 32 will have to race its way in with Rose, or qualify its way in, dependent, either or. Rose is a 2-time winner on the channel. He's won, or in the series that's regulated. He's a Gratton Racing League winner at Road America more recently, and prior to that, winner at Canadian Tire. So he knows his way around a road course, clearly. We'll see if he can get some, improve a little bit in terms of Super Speedway and Speedway in general. Did finish top 10 in the Gratton Racing League, so maybe I'm selling him a little bit short. But Rose, should be said, he's in his 3rd season with Pacific Racing driving this 32. He knows the team. He knows what he has to do. We'll see what kind of difference it makes. Here is the fan favourite, Brandon Bent. And I mean it, he is the fan favourite. If you don't know, he really is the fan favourite. Got hashtags and everything going. Go get Bent for Brandon. He's a 9-time race winner. He's a 2-time series champion, a Daytona 500 champion, season 4. And the two seasons he won, seasons 2 and 4, we're now in season 6. Maybe the pattern continues for the 27. But he had a bad year, it should be said, in season 5. We finished 14th in points. Only got 1 win, and that was at Talladega, amazingly. It was a very real struggle for this team. He's running top 10 at the moment, so that's a pretty good effort, considering there's only, 2-3 cars in that group. He's got, it's up to 8th now. So that's a pretty good effort, I would say, so far, all things considered. We'll keep an eye on this 27th round Speed Weeks. Daniel Paulus Jr. in the 63 for Team Velocista. Matt Tuck was really singing his praises in the build-up to this week. Paulus is locked into the Daytona 500, so he doesn't have to worry about having to qualify his way in. But this team making the switch from Chevrolet to Honda was a big move in the off-season. Will it pay dividends? That's the big question. Paulus, like Matthew Hubert, is a true rookie. He's never made a start on the channel until what will be his first start in the Daytona 500. So keep an eye on the 63 to see what he can do. We'll see what kind of time he does here, because Bent is 10th at the moment. I think Paulus, if he's going to improve, he'll jump him. He does not improve his time. Let's go with Kelly Lee here, the 76 for Premier Racing Motorsports, currently 5th. Lee led the most laps in the Daytona 500 back in the Gratton Racing League. Lost that race though. I think led over half the laps in that race. Still finished like 14th, and Isaac Nichols, her teammate at the time, ended up winning that race. So 76 has brought some fast cars to Daytona previously. Lee finished quite well in the season 3 Daytona 500. Was up there in the top 5 for the win. Currently top 5 in this session. Has the longest active losing streak of any driver in this field. 81 races since she last went to victory lane. That was Richmond in season 2. It's been a long, long time ago. That was her rookie campaign. She's now in year 4. So we'll see what she can do this season. Just missed out, by the way, on the chase. 17th in points last season. Another true rookie, Eric Monaco in the 42 for Full Frontal Motorsports. We talked about a bit of their history previously when we talked about Josh Williamson. And Monaco, true rookie to the series. We'll see what he could do. He's been around racing a lot of series across the journey. We'll see what he can do in this 42. Julio Cesar in the 26 for Nicotech Racing. Talked about the switch to Honda, the very high-profile move. After 32 wins, a team's championship in Season 5 with Chevrolet, making the move to Honda. It was a big, big deal. And we'll see if it pays dividends for this team. Cesar won 4 races in Season 5. Prior to that, he'd only won the 2 races in his career. So Season 5 was a real breakout for him. We'll see if he can go a bit better than he did in Season 5. I just want to make sure. Who was that on pit road? I'll talk about the 04 when we get to him. The 21, Collin Denton, DW Motorsports. This is a guy that probably for mine is under the most pressure. He's under more pressure than anybody else because this car has a great history. The 21 is the winningest number on the channel. And Collin Denton missed the chase. I think he finished 19th in points from memory. It might have been 18th. I think it was, maybe it was 19th. I don't know. 19th, 18th. Something along those lines. Missed the chase, though, via tiebreaker. And then outside of a second place at Dover, a third place at Michigan, and another top 5 elsewhere. I can't remember where it is off the top of my head. Had a tough, tough season. So can Denton now turn it around and have a really, really good season. We'll see. He's in year 3. We'll see what he could do in this number 21. Nicholas Sanvitale in the 45 for Seminole Motors. This is their 4th car. I've already seen their other 3. Home race for... I think it's a home race for Sanvitale as well. I could be wrong. But Sanvitale... been around for a long, long time in a variety of series. Runner-up in the Samsung Offline Racing League a couple of years ago. Probably could have and should have won the championship there. Had the best average finish in that series, but didn't have any wins, and that was probably the downfall for the 45. Well, he's driving the 97 there, but now they're driving the 45. And we'll see what he can do in this series. He's driving for a team that I expect to be right up there in Seminole Motors. So we'll see what he can do in that car. Lenard Kocsmar in the 03, who's the current quick man at the moment for Team Williams, who we talked about it before. They did fall away in the GRL, I think it'd be fair to say. Kocsmar was one of those guys who actually, I mean, to be fair to Kocsmar, despite the fall off that perhaps the team had, he had some bad races here and there, of course, but I think it was more a case of bad luck. He did win at Kansas, which was the 9th race, and then things really fell apart. He ended up finishing 13th in points in that season. And to be honest, I don't know if it was all really the car's fault. Sorry, the driver's fault. I think maybe more so the car, but we'll see. This team hoping for a big improvement on what was demonstrated in the back end of the GRL season. So Kocsmar has actually just been bumped from the top spot, and that now goes to Eric Monaco, the 42. There he is. Collin Denton up to 3rd, and Kelly Lee up to 2nd. Talk about Roberto Crown. Kian Raleigh's on pit road here in the number 10 at the moment. We'll get to him when he gets back on the racetrack, I think. These guys have worked together the whole time. Here's Alex Sanvitale. I tell you what, Alex Sanvitale, maybe the most upset driver on pit road after GRL, and fair enough too, all things considered. That car he was driving, the Will Parrish Motorsports car, was not that good. He ended up over 60 points behind the next car in the championship, which was Alejandro Cruz, finished 30th in points. Made some changes this year in how he approaches this series and this season, driving for Hair Gel Motorsports. We'll see what kind of impact that has on this 37. And we'll see what he can do, the Canva Chevrolet here in this session. Just hoping for some level of improvement. And the good thing for him, he is locked into the Daytona 500, does not have to worry about it. Jack Haas in the 00 is someone that will have to qualify or race his way into the Daytona 500. Got 2 wins in the GRL, led the points for about half a year, and then after the hiatus, only managed 2 top 10s from that point onwards. It was a shocking run for the driver, now the 00. But he had a very promising start to the year, so I'm not really sure what happened between the start and the hiatus. Had some bad luck, of course, but it felt like the car speed wasn't quite there as much, and so it was a bit of frustration for him. He is 10th at the moment. It's not a bad run, but he has to race his way in. So does Josh Williamson, by the way. They both qualify, race their way in. Here's Bryce Eagan, the 18 for Gratton Autosport, their 3rd car. Eagan is a true rookie to this series, and again, like Will Parrish, was a late call-up. Wasn't originally going to be in this car, but gets an opportunity here with Gratton Autosport. He peels off onto pit road now, so we'll see what the 18 could do throughout the season as a true rookie. Rogal Dorn in the 04, who is full of confidence at the moment, driving the Procore Dodge this season for Premier Racing Motorsports. He's very, very fast. If you watch the GRL and you pay attention to the GRL, you know that Dorn was the champion in that series, won at New Simona, didn't win another race from that point onwards, but certainly the second half of the season he rallied, got consistent finishes when others faltered, like Charette and like Bradyn Perez had a bad moment. Haas struggled, Kocsmar struggled. Watson was up and down. Oran dropped away, had some incidents of the sort, so there's a bit going on. But Dorn was relatively consistent down the stretch, got good finishes, and was able to cruise to the championship at Homestead. Didn't have to worry about the points, really. And he feels really confident. Not only is he the favourite for the Rookie of the Year, he's went on record saying that he eyes the championship trophy in his rookie season. So keep an eye on that 04 as the year goes along, the Dutch driver. Here's Annie Thomas in the 73 for Maley Motorsports. A single car operation. Maley Motorsports back with Chevrolet after 1 year with Dodge, and then a couple of races at the end of Season 5 with Ford taking over the Smart Motorsports equipment at that time. Back with Chevrolet. And Andy Thomas actually ran really well. Oh, that's close there with Caleb Rose coming down pit road. Something maybe to watch in the Daytona 500. But Thomas finished third in the Daytona 500 back in Season 1. That was the best, and that still is the best career finish for Thomas. By far and away, that's the case. And it was by far and away the best season that team had, Maley Motorsports, back in Season 3. So we'll see if going back to Chevrolet works, because that's the manufacturer they were working with back in Season 3. We'll see if it works out now. The final Monkey Racing Toyota. John Andrews. Body Armour Toyota. And Andrews is a long time veteran, back from the Season 1 days as well. He's been around the block. He's driven, he's owned, he's won a couple of races driver, one at New Hampshire in Season 1, and then one in Season 3 with Maley Motorsports, actually, in Season 3 at Auto Club. But it was a tough year that year, and it's been really since then, since that first season. He finished top 5 in the points that first season, which was equal ratings. From there, it's just been a disaster. But he is the experienced hand of this team. He's had some good performances here and there. I think it was Homestead where he finished 11th with Tanker Motorsports, a car that was nowhere up to par early in that season, the first Homestead race. So can he do the same thing here with Monkey Racing and the 44 and really lead this team forward and perhaps challenge the Seminole Motors of the world and Pacific Racing for that top Toyota team? That's going to be one thing that we're going to keep an eye on as the year goes along. Kelly Lee, by the way, has gone to the top of the board in the 76. This car is very fast. Do not count her out of this Daytona 500. We talked about these three guys here. I think it's just Kian Raleigh, and there he is in the number 10. He's just been bumped out of the top 10 right now as we speak. But Raleigh has been pretty good at across the journey. In fact, Kelly Lee's just gone to the top again. But Kian Raleigh, it's his 4th season. He's a 4-time race winner, the last of which was Season 4 Canadian Tire, which is a fair while ago now. 34 races. He's been an Ecotech lifer. He was actually owned the team in Season 3 while Isaac Nichols drove, returned to the driver's seat Season 4. He's made the chase that every year he's been a part of. So we'll see what the number 10 this season can deliver. And we'll see how Raleigh goes in this Daytona 500. And that should be everyone we've covered here in this session. How about these guys? These guys are drafting off the pack in front. They're making good time. Sanvitale, Williamson, and Haas. Sanvitale 7th. Williamson now up to 2nd. And Jack Haas up to 3rd. Up to 4th, I should say. The one thing I will say, these times are not anywhere near as quick as that first session as of right now. Although these guys might make me eat my words here because they're drafting off the pack in front. Sanvitale's just gone at the top of the board. A 46 dead. 46.005. It's not going to get on it because the times in the first session we're into the 45, well, under 46 seconds. So quite a bit different there in terms of speed. Now, one guy we'll keep an eye here on this 00 because he's the furthest back and he's going to be the last guy to run up on the pack in front. We'll see what kind of time he could do here. He's going to the top. He's running around the top and now maybe go work around the inside here perhaps. Let's see. It'll be him or Williamson here. If they're going to improve, it'll be those two guys. And bang! There you go, right on cue. Both of them improved. And there you go. So Haas now goes to the top. Williamson now goes to 2nd. And Sanvitale ends up dropping to 3rd. But I'm sure Alex Sanvitale will not complain about 3rd place in this session. I am almost certain of that, I'd be willing to say. Good run for the 37. So in terms of the cars, they have to qualify their way in. So we mentioned before, Haas and Williamson have to qualify their way in. Bryce Eagan in the 18 will have to qualify or race his way in, either or. Caleb Rose will in the 32. And is that the 26? Yes, he's locked in, so no worries. Lenard Kocsmar in the 03 for Team Williams. He'll have to qualify or race his way in. John Andrews will as well in the 44. Although that car looking pretty sporty at the moment. He's on his own, but he's 5th quickest at the moment. So that's a pretty good time, I'd say. We perhaps want to watch in the 500. Eric Monaco's another one that has to make his way in. Annie Thomas in the 73. And out of everybody we've seen, that's all the guys that have to qualify their way in. So out of a 46 car field in totality, there will be 4 cars that miss out. It will be a 42 car field. We'll figure out who goes where here in a minute. As we're approaching Roberto Crown Jr.'s 43 in this main group. Bryce Eagan just jumped up inside the top 10 as well. It's a good showing for him. But, double zero. Haas is actually on pit road. It just now dawned on me. But he's currently the quick man in this session. And I don't remember. It wouldn't be quicker than the Group 1 time. So he wouldn't be the last car out if these times were to stand. But wouldn't be that far away from being one of the last cars out. Sanvitale gets around Bryce Eagan. And we're back. Sorry about that. I just had a little moment there with a little technical gremlin, which is disappointing. I was hoping to get those out of the way. But, here's what it is. So, in terms of the times, a technical gremlin, by the way, was me just making a mistake. I didn't open the times from before. But Henry Gore, by the way, 71, 45, 848. That's the fast time in Group 1. So about a 10th off that time, which is very, very interesting. So right now, Henry Gore would be the last car out. And fascinatingly for the drivers that have to make their way in, Thomas Troxell would be the second last car out in the 62. But these guys, I mean, you look at that time that Haas and Williamson have put together in this session just for comparison, as the order's just been changed around again. Towards the bottom of the top 10, not up to the top. But for comparison, I mean, these guys would be bottom of the top 10 at the moment. Haas would be 8th quickest at the moment in that double zero. With that time, if it was in Group 1. So, fascinating the way that it's played out in this session. It's been run quite differently. The conditions are the same. I've made sure of that. Conditions are the same. But sometimes it's quite different in the way the packs are formed and who's drafted up to who. Been a very, very fascinating session, to say the least, as we're approaching the end of it, the end of pre-season testing. We'll see if anybody can improve their time while they've got the chance. There won't be too much longer to go. Right now, Haas leading Williamson from Sanvitale. So 3 rookies currently top of the field. Then Kelly Lee and John Andrews, some experience there. Then Eric Monaco, the 42. Julio Cesar, Brandon Bent, Annie Thomas, and Bryce Eagan. So they've got one more lap to put together. For these guys, Cesar on back, this will be their last lap. Cesar's going to remain 7th here. There's no way he's going to improve on that time. Got Raleigh and Caleb Rose, who aren't going to jump into the top 10 right there. Paulus and 21 at Denton, and none of these guys improved. There's Jack Haas, who's on his own. He'd be a happy man, I think, being the quickest at the moment. The double zero timed his run quite well. And all of these guys are just about done as well. Crossing the line now. Kocsmar just got his time off. Hubert at the buzzer. And Steinbach, so they improve. The Kocsmar, so they all improve. They all move up. Kocsmar up to 8th. Steinbach up to 6th. And Hubert up to 5th. So we've got 4 rookies inside the top 5 in this session. But it's Jack Haas in the double zero for Team Williams, who is the pace setter in this session. A promising sign for Dodge as well, that they could put together the fastest times here in this session, although they won't be the fastest time in totality across the 2 pre-season, across the 2 sessions today. So Jack Haas, the quick man, 45.943. He will go out 38th, I think it is. Might be 39th, actually. I'm not quite... I'll figure that one out here in a minute. 46, 45... 4, 3... It's good content right here. 2, 1. Yeah, it was 39th. It'll be the 39th car out in the session. So this goes to show the kind of difference in terms of speed in this session compared to what we saw in Group 1. There's about a 10th difference between Henry Ward and Jack Haas. So Haas, the pace setter in this session, Josh Williamson, Alex Sanvitale, Kelly Lee, Matthew Hubert, the top 5, Addison Steinbach, John Andrews, Lenard Kocsmar, Eric Monaco, and Julio Cesar inside the top 10 now. The Hondas, interestingly enough, not quite as fast as perhaps they would have hoped, I think. But maybe that's just the fact that they're, that's or maybe just they're waiting around for the race to come around and not worrying too much. They've got all the Hondas in the 500, so they don't have to worry about the duel, the qualifying, or anything like that. Brandon Ben's 11th quickest in that session. Dawson Miller 17th, Anthony 14th. So some interesting names down the order. Kian Raleigh 20th, and Caleb Rose. And Caleb Rose will be the first car out, by the way, in qualifying because of the time. So, for the record, I mean, Bradyn Perez's time, he would have been 19th quickest in this group. So, yeah, the times were quite different, all things considered. So, Rose will be the first car out, Richard Fridge will be the second car out, then Paulus, Raleigh, Crown, and then Bradyn Perez. So, these are looking quite different there with those guys in terms of the time. So, fascinating session. Good to see all the drivers out on track and getting ready to go. In terms of the schedule for the next week, for those who are unaware, we've got the Daytona 500 qualifying, which I'm aiming to get out the 28th of October, which is of course Tuesday night. All the events will be night races or night events. So 28th of October. The duels will hopefully be the duels will hopefully be the 30th. I'm pretty tired. I'm recording this pretty late. Hopefully will be the 30th. And then the 500 will be the 2nd of November, hopefully. That's the plan at least. I don't know if that will end up being the case. But anyway, stay tuned for that. You'll see we'll see the premiere pop up on YouTube subscriptions. And we'll see how it goes. Hey, fun session. Hopefully we get some interest. Hopefully it'll be good fun at Daytona 500 qualifying, I should say, because I know the single car qualifying is going to be long. It's going to be a long session, that one. So we'll see what happens in that. Will the times remain to be the same? Like, will the guys that are fast in this session will they be fast in single car qualifying? I guess that will remain to be seen. But well done to Henry Ward and Jack Haas, who were the fast two in their respective sessions. Henry Ward will be the last car out in Daytona 500 qualifying. So that will be very interesting to see in the number 71. Can he win the pole for the Daytona 500, or will it be perhaps one of these guys in this session, or someone else from Group 1? We'll see what happens on Tuesday night. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Well done to Henry Ward and Jack Haas for being the fastest here in pre-season testing. We'll see you Tuesday for Daytona 500 single car qualifying.